We're on a ship that flies and flies and flies and flies.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Trip Thru Time, and as time goes by, memories never die. Another great guest is joining us today. From some of my favorite pins made to supplying the fan with the Pretty Lights live account, I'd like to welcome Brandon Rietheimer. It's Rietheimer, correct?
It's Rietheimer.
Really? Oh, my God.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, because I heard Ethan said one thing, and then Tammy said another thing, so I was like, all right, I got to So I apologize. But yeah, dude, thank you.
It's all good.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
We have bumped into each other a bunch over the years, but then especially I feel like almost every show that I've been to or every stop, since the return I've seen you at, and I've been like, dude, you gotta bring the pins back, dude. So, and which you did. So we'll get into. Yeah, why don't you just if you could just kind of introduce yourself, base level stuff of who you are, and then get into everything else, man.
I'm Brandon Rietheimer. I've been seeing PL since 2012. I'm at like 71 shows, I think. First show was 2012, Albany. Yeah, we started recording sets back in like 2014 with just like a handheld recorder, and we're getting sets up, and now thankfully they stream it and we can get some real good audio quality. Yeah, I've been doing that, and then the pin game too a little bit. Not quite as what it used to be, but still like to put some art out there and do some stuff. So.
Oh yeah. So 71 shows. Are you originally from Colorado?
No, I'm from Pennsylvania.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, I've obviously been seeing you not only at shows on camera. So you're all in the mix. Seriously. You're all in the mix, man. So yeah, that's awesome. I always kind of like to compare. We went to 24 the same, but yeah, like I was saying, after all the time, you remember certain people, and I remember interacting with you on Facebook, but I know I bumped into you outside the Warfield, and then I Tahoe, and I mentioned to you about the podcast, and then we continued to talk about the pins and shit, and then Vegas, and then saw you at the pop-up in Chicago. So yeah, dude, it's funny, just keep continuing to run in. So yeah, I mean, any stories along the years, man? I mean, anything that pops out, especially some of the stuff before the hiatus, whether it's anything that happened at show or like specific shows you like, or just shows, their stories, going to shows and traveling, just fun shit like that. I don't know, anything that pops out.
Yeah, I mean, that's like most of what it's about is like the experience of traveling and like hanging with everyone. But like memorable shows, I mean, 2014 Red Rocks, obviously, Telluride, that Euphoria set, that was a disaster. Just like kind of being there for all of it, like the 40-minute analog in Vegas that like really pissed people off. So many memories, but like I feel like this tour now, it's been like a lot of connection with people that I've seen, like your name, just like people I've seen over the internet for 10 years now, and actually running into them and like making those connections. This comeback has been like really cool, and like definitely something that stands out, and it gives me those like 2013, 2014 vibes, kind of.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Which, by the way, how did you feel about those times, the old time?
I mean, like 2013 was lit, like 2014 was great, but yeah, it started to, kind of taper off there and get a little weird. 2015, 2018. I feel like, I don't know, Greg did a podcast, I think, and he was saying how like Derek took a lot of what went good and went bad and like really figured out what worked best and like brought that to what we have now. And I feel like you can really feel that for sure.
What podcast was that? His own, or was that somebody else's?
I think he was on Almost Familiar.
Okay, yeah, I listened to that like when it came out last year, but I maybe have to go back because I know he started his own podcast, he picked it back up and renamed it. But him and Durian or whatever. And I was just listening to the one they dropped last week today, but he did mention years when Fish had gone through before one of their hiatuses, they had some stuff going on that he said it was hard to watch, but that all kind of comes to, encompasses the whole thing. And like, like just like what you're saying, how things are good and bad or whatever. But it's good to take all that. But yeah, and it's all part of the experience, that's why we were able to talk about all this stuff too.
Yeah.
It's just, to your point, I feel like we've come back and making more some of these connections, and everyone's kind of rejuvenated instead of like the way it was kind of trending down before. It's fucking sweet and refreshing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I think like I remember being in Chicago when they replaced Coogan, and everyone was kind of like, like what the fuck is going on? I feel like a lot of that was like you didn't really need two keyboardists. I think was like the
yeah, it
thing,
was kind of weird. Yeah.
and I think like the missing piece is kind of like what Mike's doing, where he's like, doing the pad and like doing the PL sounds, and I think that's what was missing. And I think he kind of figured that out when he was like, yeah, I don't really need two keys. Like I need this other like piece to it.
Especially because Brandon's so like he's like, he's from New Orleans and
Right.
just, and you definitely heard a lot of that synth bass and like gospel stuff. But yeah, I mean, at least they were able to find someone that jumped in. I mean, those are things not necessarily like I would like dig anyone on, but it would be cool to kind of know maybe down the road when this is all said and done, get some of that inside information. Like, why did Coogan leave? Like right then and there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I talked to him back then. He kind of insinuated like people were partying a little too much and not taking it too serious, and there was just some conflict there,
Oh,
which
wow.
like kind of checks out because like that does feel like what the vibe was in that era. So, yeah, I mean, and it's like with Deitch and Lettuce, like had management been able to like set the tours right, like we might even still have Deitch right now, but they like couldn't schedule the tours with Lettuce, or well, they didn't take it into account. And
Yeah.
Deitch is like, oh, I got a show that weekend with
Yeah.
Lettuce. So
I've definitely come around. I think a lot of people have come around with Alvin too. I mean, it's
for
hard
sure.
it's hard to switch between those and then, immediately be like, okay, this is fine, but I think it's, it's kind of like when if you're a sports fan, if your team gets their quarterback replaced and they end up paying off later on, you're like, all right, things are all good.
Right. No, totally. I feel like it took a minute for him to get his groove. He was like, kind of, yeah, it took a minute. Like he's finally like, I'm like, I'm with Alvin now for sure. But at first I was like super critical.
And I mean, not to be, I mean, he obviously he's a musician. Who am I to say anything? But I think specifically when it kind of showed, or it would shed light on it, would be like in "Color My Soul" when the drum solo was kind of just a little,
100%.
yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
it was just like,
Smashing it.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But either way, I love Alvin. I think he's his energy's great. I don't know how you felt, but towards the end, I mean, I actually stopped seeing him in 2017 because kind of some of the things you're talking about. I left, and on top of it, were you at New Braunfels, Texas?
Nah.
Okay, but yeah, that one I've talked about it with people on here before. A couple people that have been there, but the security was really weird, and I'm sure you remembered Northern Ireland.
Oh yeah, search my
Like,
shoes.
yeah, bro, that's just not the energy you want with the.
Nah, going in, kills the vibe for sure.
Yeah, and it was like opposite. Like Northerly was really tough getting in, but once you're inside, you're fine. Braunfels was opposite. Yeah, so I left that, and I was just like, I'm kind of good for a while, dude. I don't know. And then I didn't have any clue as to we'd be like waiting that long, but
yeah, for sure.
all those things considered, and coming back, the wait's been worth it.
Definitely.
Just as people know, or as we discussed, you have your live recording days. I kind of wanted to know a little bit further on just the whole process and like how you got started with that. I know there were some other people doing it as well. If you're working with those people, and like just in terms of how you were using the microphone and every, I don't know. I just really want to kind of get the full picture.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. So I think the first person to record anything was Con Korsh, and I think he said he had a little like hat clip microphone. So he just like clipped a microphone to his hat in Red Rocks, and like those are those infamous recordings with the girl.
Yeah.
Like, I'm from Boulder.
Yeah,
Yeah. That shit lives in infamy for sure. But yeah, so he was like the first one, and I think that really inspired me to be like, oh shit, we should be like recording this shit. And then like you kind of find out like, the Dead's been recording, like has the like taper section or whatever. So I ended up getting a little like handy Zoom recorder, this little handheld recorder thing. And then I would just kind of like renegade record. So if it was an outdoor venue, I try to like hook it up to a flagpole or something, get up in the air. For jam crews though, I just had some like Velcro, some sticky Velcro, and I would like find a spot and just like Velcro it onto
Oh, and then
a
you walk
pole.
away? You
Yeah, then
leave
I'd
it?
walk away.
Oh, sick. Okay. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So that was kind of. I feel like we did that for like 2 years, and then Will Guy also started doing that.
Yeah.
So he recorded all like the Australia stuff, and then a lot of the like 2014, like 2015. It got to a point where he was like cool with the crew, so he was able to like go in with them and set up his recorder. So it was just like he was able to get better positioning and access. So we started just using his recordings mostly.
Nice.
Yeah.
You guys are homies or just
Yeah.
acquaintances? Okay, that's cool.
Well, you know, PLF.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
No,
obviously.
but we just met through the
Okay,
scene for sure.
gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
so you guys are like was working together, but not almost kind of thing, like respect for each other, but not like
Yeah, because he would be like at shows I wouldn't be at, and vice versa. So we were just
Okay.
really trying to like make sure we got everything we could.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's almost
Yeah.
like Kyle Hammy and Vistafer seemed like
Yeah.
that they were doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, was it like kind of like a really just like a mic almost like this big, like kind of one of
It
those?
was kind of like a 6-inch by 2-inch thing.
Was it actually like an actual mic like you'd see on stage, or was it kind of more of like
it had like an XY configuration and 2 like small
Oh,
microphones.
okay. Damn.
Yeah. Put an
Yeah,
SD
because
card
I
in.
was wondering. I actually did wonder that because obviously, like as you just mentioned, the Red Rocks 14 recordings, and I mean, we were still amazed. I mean, at the time, that's what like I've mentioned this a lot too. Like a reason why I think a lot of us are such dedicated fans was because when we got into it, we didn't have these things. So, and the chase is still there. But
For
I
sure.
think back then it was especially like, you just had to be there type of thing. So, I was just mind blown, and I remember listening to that all the time, and just it's almost like the conversations became a part of this song.
Oh,
You
for
know what I
sure.
mean?
For sure.
So
Yeah.
and then over the years I just noticed that they got better and they didn't have people. So I imagine I'm like they got to be sticking it up on like not like a totem, but some type of just to get away from conversation, or people are like having signs on "Don't fucking talk to me" because I'm recording.
No, it definitely got better. Like once Will was able to get in, like before the show, he could get it really set up and dialed in. So it certainly was a learning curve, and it got better as we went. But yeah, I was listening to those 2014 sets the other day, and I was like, man, they're fucking so good. Like,
I know.
Even with the talking, I'm like, this is worth the listen.
It's all part of the lore, man. It all
Right.
when we go down the road, it's gonna be those will just be funny things. But yeah, so I was actually on my last one I recorded. This came up randomly. I'll see this video resurface on social media, but there was like taper tickets or taper section for the dead, like you were saying. And then Bob Weir was getting an interview by somebody, and they're like, "Don't you think that's bad for business?" And he's like, "Well, it actually helped us out because it just created the it just was a marketing piece for our live experience, and we never thought we were good on record anyway. We thought we were much better live, so it just added to the the trading and the underground, the whole attraction to this thing. And I'm like, that just reminds me so much of Pretty Lights, especially just the path that we've been on in the last 10 years. So it's really cool that you're a part of that, man. So thanks again for sharing all this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was wondering after recordings, like, would that just save on like a flash drive, and then you'd go take that and have to break all those up, and would you be mastering and stuff like that? Like, what was the whole process?
I never did like too much mastering, mostly like level, like volume and stuff. But I'm not like an audio tech or anything. It's like some of that stuff's pretty advanced. I'm not sure what I'm doing, so try to just record the true sound.
I think it's kind of cool because you guys I think more of it is about being quick to get it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just again, like the fact that us fans are able to go like listen to it right away. I don't think we necessarily cared about the crispness of the audio. Is more so like just being able to relive those moments and just being current about it was really cool. So props to you and everybody who did that. That was great. Did you have other people helping you, and was it just? I mean, it seems like the equipment was relatively like light and little. I just didn't know if there was people helping you bring things in or whatever, but or anything after the fact. So it's pretty much just all
Yeah,
yourself.
not for me, but definitely for Will.
Yeah.
You know, he was able to get some of that access and be able to get the stuff in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was pretty early on, so we were just kind of finding a spot and setting up.
That's awesome. When did you decide to start the page?
That's a good question. I don't remember exactly what year that would have been, but probably 2014 or
Yeah.
2015, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
So
Yeah, it's been around for a minute.
yeah, because I was actually, when I was thinking about this, I'm like, I can't recall when that happened. And I know, there's the PL rarities and the more PL rare, or like there's a handful of other
Yeah, there's a couple of.
accounts. But yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, I can't put a finger on it, but I would probably say right around Red Rocks 14 is when I remembered, like, hey, shit, there's recordings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then, were you behind doing the Bill Graham Auditorium pay-per-view ones?
Yeah, that one. I put
Oh,
it on a
okay.
DVD and I was shipping it out to people.
Oh, no shit. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. I remember that actually. I bought some like screen recording stuff, like the day before or something, and set it all up.
Wow.
Yeah, back in DVD days, like
Dude.
Jesus.
Man, we've come a long way, dude. That's a trip.
Long way.
Dude, no, I mean, it was so funny. That was kind of leading into the first of what we do now with these like couch or stream parties and stuff. And I remember I was dating this girl, and we had at her parents' house, we had people over to watch the show, and it was just like a whole thing. Because I believe that was in November, and I had just done, or maybe end of November, and I had just done a long week of Analog Future Tour shows. So 5 shows in 7 days. It was nuts.
Oof. Damn, that sounds rough.
Yeah, the last one was the only time I've left Pretty Lights early.
Okay.
I did 3 nights in Chicago, then Louisville Wednesday. So that's Friday to Sunday, then Louisville Wednesday, and then Milwaukee Thursday.
Okay.
And I almost didn't go because I had to drive back home to Chicago. And then I'm like, and it's only about an hour and a half over. I'm like, do I do this? I went and was dying. And again, only last time I could say that I left early. Won't ever happen again, I'm sure. But that was a long week. So
yeah, when it was mission into Dillon, it was like you had like 3 days to recover basically before another 3-night run. But last night at Dillon, everyone in our Airbnb is like, should we just like sell our tickets for like 500 right now? We're all just like joking. Like,
yeah, I mean, you could make some money, but
right, yeah,
definitely not gonna get rid of that. I mean,
no, for sure.
Speaking of, I mean, what did you like better, Dillon or Mission? I mean, because the first show's back got to be awesome to be at.
Yeah, it's hard to pick because the energy of the first show's back was something to remember, but yeah, Dillon was super special.
Yeah, I mean, seeing
it's
it,
probably big Dillon. I mean,
because I didn't even think about that, and that was brought to my attention. Like, oh yeah, I mean, the first weekend's got to be, just especially being in Colorado and all. Running into, like, as you're saying, kind of making these connections from way back, that's got to be awesome. But yeah, as far as like, and 2 totally different, indoor versus outdoor, and then in a very scenic place. And I feel like, Pretty Lights in a scenic mountain area is always going to be, it's always going to be awesome. But either way, that's, I'm happy for you that you got tickets and you're able to go to.
I know, seriously. Yeah, that was a stressful time. It was like, Jesus, like shit.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't have to deal with too much, but I did overpay for one of my nights of San Francisco. But I mean, it was, Colorado's always seems to be really rough with that shit. So I was wondering, so getting some of these song names that aren't out yet, like are an official title, did you create some of those on your own? Are you getting inside information? It's
a little of both. Like, it's a little everything. So for like Mission, when all these new songs came out, we got pictures of the set list.
Okay.
So we were able to match songs with like order. So a lot of the newer tracks, well, not newer now because there's been so much, but like the first tour tracks, a lot of those came straight from the set list.
Okay.
But now when he's doing all these like New Year's, when he's just like smashing all these songs together, sometimes I'll use what the Discord set listers call it. Sometimes Miguel will chime in with what a song's called. Sometimes I just name it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty random process.
Right. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I think it's, again, it adds another just thing to it. Like, oh, it was called this by fans, but it's actually, you know, I mean,
I wish you would just give us the names though.
I mean, yeah,
like,
I'm with you there. But it is kind of,
it gets confusing.
Like, especially for Así es la vida or whatever, and then it was like No Soy de Aquí on one.
Well, so it started out on a set list as Así es la vida.
Yeah.
And then later on, I think Miguel was like, no, this is actually called No Soy de Aquí. So it's like, all right, well, I want to start naming it proper. So at like some point, I'm going to go back through everything and try to like clean it up a little bit. But, well, yeah, it's like, I think I heard you talking about Anytime or Left Behind. Like, it's never been a released track. The fans have always called it Love You Left Behind. And then last year it showed up on the set list as Anytime.
Oh.
And we're all like, I'm like, I don't know. We've always called it. You know,
I like Love You Left Behind better. I don't know. It's just sometimes like, I get a lot of songs are named like the chorus or like the, you know, clearly that's the name. But I think it is cool sometimes when it's not always that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, yeah, come on. You give us so much.
Give us the names. Yeah.
Dude, even Dead & Co. will, like, in the past, I don't think they're doing it for the Sphere anymore, but they were in, towards the last couple of tours, they would just post pictures of the set list, and it would say the name and then who was singing the song and what key it was in. So that'd be nice.
Well, so I think they wanted to do that, I feel like, but then they wouldn't play some shit. So like Mission, they wanted to play like Electro Cali, I think. Yeah. And then like people saw the set list and then people were like, oh, we didn't get Electro Cali. So I think they were like, oh, let's not like post pictures of these anymore.
Yes. I mean, you could always be like, this is what it was planned. I mean, that just shows.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You could also do, I think if I'm not mistaken, on Dead & Co, they like cross some shit out or like, you know, it could, but whatever. I mean,
yeah, shit happens.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I mean, definitely. I mean, I figured that was what was going on. I know I listened to Almost Familiar with Brett Shredman's, and he named a handful of songs.
Yeah, that digital as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually gonna bring that up further. Did you name that?
That was Brett, I think.
Oh, okay. I didn't mention that one, but yeah, I mean, I love that song.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
And I love that moment that Derek mentioned that. Like, you know, I don't even know. You guys named it.
Yeah, you guys named it. Like what?
Yeah, that's great stuff. Obviously, I assume unless something crazy happens and you're prepared, I assume those recording days are over.
Yeah. I'm just ripping from the streams now because, the quality is, and then I don't have to record anything.
Yeah. Well, to that point, I just, there was that pop-up show in fucking Hawaii.
Right.
That just happened, and that would have been a good time.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Obviously, you got to be prepared, and you can't be carrying around this thing that's gonna, be a possibility, But that would have been, a nice time.
I don't know. I definitely brought my recorder to Chicago for the pop up just in case.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, all right, you are prepared. All right.
You just never know. But yeah, not in Hawaii. I'll blame Cassie for not recording it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
No, that was dope.
Yeah, no, that is sweet. I didn't even know much of what was going on. I mean, do you have more information on that at all? I mean, I don't
know what led to it.
Party or something like that. Was it?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know what the story is about that.
Okay. Well, I just
Derek's just eating lunch and he's like, "Can I plug in?"
I just couldn't even believe it. I was like, "Wait, what the fuck is going on?" And then because I'm not as current on Facebook as I am, or as I used to be. So that was just really interesting to see. And it immediately made me think of those old days, so.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So going to the pins, man. All right. So for those that are watching, I put them up, but I love these. There was the live band one. You had the Laser Shark kind of that matched it under, then the symphonies, the Snowball Trio, the Telluride with the fucking TVs and the moon. I mean, yeah, I like, and this is, I still pair this one. There's like a EP one that's like this. They're
Yeah.
abducting people in the city and stuff, and that kind of matches the vibe of it. But and then of course this new one is fucking so dope with the squares.
Thanks. Nice.
I love all that stuff. So I'm really glad you brought it back.
Yeah, I always get inspired by like what's going on up there, and
Yeah.
it took me a minute for this one because I like couldn't figure out what I wanted to do really, but
Yeah.
like those squares kept popping up, and I was like, man, this is like it, I think.
Yeah, I'm actually, because I was a little surprised, and I'm glad you did it. I mean, you did a phenomenal job, but like, yeah, in my mind, I was just thinking like full stage and like thinking of like putting like, you know, where each member is, but no, that encapsulates it perfect, and it's just it's more simple, but just it's nice. You know, I really like it. So
thanks. Yeah, that's one of my favorites, and that snowball pin are probably one of my favorites.
The snowball pin.
I don't know if you have the snowball pin.
Oh, is that the trio? The trio one?
It's like towers with the balls.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. When it was the first Deitch and that was when Carnes debuted.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bombay bump to open.
Dude, I loved that song.
No, yeah, that's been crushing that. Like the Philly version was so fucking good. I don't know how familiar you are with that, but
is
like,
that did they do the Philadelphia Boogie with that a little bit or no?
Yeah, they did, and they had like this female like vocalist, and I don't know if she's singing like Indian music or something or whatever, but it was like very beautiful. It was very long, and then obviously like the Tepid Bile shit at Red Rocks was cool.
I mean, I know everyone loved the Harry Potter fading into that a little bit at fucking St. Augustine, but I really liked like that's why I was kind of bummed when they stopped, because I felt like all the new stuff we started to hear after Color Map was like, I don't know, it was different. It was a little more like grime, like not grime, but darker and stuff. Yeah, really dark. And I was just bummed, because I was like, he's sitting on I mean, I literally thought they were about to fucking break the fucking like internet with like all the shit that they were gonna pop off on. I don't know, and I was just like, dude, they got so much good shit, like
so much.
Yeah,
like, so much unreleased music. Like
I know it's insane. I mean, there's literally albums on albums. He's probably doubled his fucking discography.
I'm sure he has more unreleased than released for sure.
Yeah, and that's some of my favorite stuff. But I mean, especially though after 2017 and getting the slew of songs that they were sitting on, and then for it to go off, I was just like, man, what the fuck? But again, worth it in all ways. So
definitely.
But okay, so back to the pin thing. I saw that those sold out right away. So kind of when you had mentioned earlier, it wasn't what it once was, but I think if you make the right one, people are going to go after it, and you definitely did a great job on that. And I actually thought about buying another one. I noticed they were sold out right away. So that's and thank you for you let me know. You're like, these are up. I'm like, oh, good shit. So, but let's go back to the pin game. For those that weren't around then, I mean, that was insane. I think partially it was, I think there's obviously an uptick in fandom as that was around when yourself and myself got into it. But I think maybe, at least for me, I was living with my parents. I had more money to spend, but the market was insane. Like it was, people were trading and selling for a lot. And I mean, I know you made some really sought after ones, like the Yellowbirds and stuff like that. Like people were going nuts over that. But I mean, it was just a different time, dude. Like on top of that, going to festivals and people had boards out for trade and stuff. It was just, that was like a whole part of it. And
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a culture thing for sure. And like, I don't know, I feel like people are so like precious about their hats now, where they don't want to do the pinholes. But back then it was like, whole hat, 10-pound hats,
literally. Yeah. And I mean, I'll rock a couple, but I still appreciate them. Like, I still, I actually separate them. Like I have my stage designs, then these are all official Pretty Lights pins. So if anyone's got a Vegas VIP, I need one, and I got trades. But then, I set kind of some song. I've gotten rid of some, but I had some song name specific ones. And then these are all, I have fan made ones in the corner, but either way, it's definitely, it's like, it's cool to see the new, group of fans coming in, but for anyone, you got to know about the pin games because that was just insane. So, I know lots of beef, a lot of people getting scammed, which is
Yeah, a Ty.
yeah.
Ty out here scamming everyone.
Oh my God, I forgot about him. Oh my God, I totally
Yeah.
forgot about him. Holy shit. Yeah, see, that's like nuts. Oh my God. It's so funny. There's a lot of those, not like we're gonna dive into talking about people, but there's a couple
Yeah.
characters over the
Oh
years
yeah.
that were
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
People knew the names.
Yeah. You thinking about making any other pins?
No, not right now. No, nothing's been like grabbing me, and it's hard to put the money into that and then not just like sit on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
So
I feel you. Yeah. I feel like for, the main thing that people go for is like event pins, but like it's tough because not everybody's attached to it like that as they used to and everything. And then I think song names were really cool after a while, but then it's they got to be really good, and a lot of
yeah, it's
times
gotta be good.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
people could like do a decent job at like representing or encapsulating a song, but it's not always gonna like look the best. So,
totally.
but I mean, in general, you know who to hit up if you're ever doing it. If you need a little pre-sale money, just give me a shout. So, looking at your shows, like I said, Brandon's been to 71. Let's go to the Bonners. Did you walk into that expecting you're going to be up all night?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like no idea. So I think that night it was like Paul McCartney, and then it was like I don't remember if it was like the XX or M83.
Yeah.
And then it was Derek, but he came on late. I remember that classic.
Yeah.
And then I just remember just being so in that set. Like that's the set that got me hooked for sure.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like looking at the stage and I'm like, it's getting like really bright behind the stage. I'm like, why are they turning all these lights on? And then it took me a minute. I was like, oh shit, wait, that's the sun. Like what's going on right now?
Yeah.
And then I left that show just like so like in awe, and I ended up walking like the wrong way for like a hot minute. And I don't know if you've been to Bonnaroo, but like you can get lost.
I've heard.
It used to not be as labeled as it is now. So like they just have like these hot air balloons in the air, so you with numbers, and that's like how you found your site. And I couldn't see any of them, and ended up walking the wrong way for like 30 minutes.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was just definitely wild to get a sunrise set. Not something I was expecting.
Yeah, dude, I picked E-Force that year, and I mean I'm glad I went, but fucking, that was the thing that was like basically people got twice as long of a set as E-Force.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And I mean I haven't had the chance to go to either again. I mean, at this point in my life, I don't know if I could do festivals, but it definitely, I mean, if you could do Bonnaroo, I feel like that's a place to see Paradise, because again, as you did this year. Now, how did those compare for you?
Well, this year we got way more music because you open Thursday night main stage, and I was in an RV, so like we're just pumping AC the whole time. So it was legit as fuck. I think Bonnaroo this year was way more special because like not really that many people went, and we weren't sure who was gonna be there. So it's like you're waiting to like get let in so you can go hit rail, and that's where like all the heads were, and it's like it's like I know like a couple of these people, and my girl Molly, she knew a couple people, and like you're sitting in line for hours, and you just kind of like chilling and bonding with like the fam and getting to know people, and like that's like a whole part of that experience too. So that was really fucking dope. And then getting to see D play like a solo set for half a set was dope.
Yeah.
And memorable. And the sunrise is just a vibe.
Yeah.
Especially with the blue sky both ways too.
Yeah,
like,
that's
awesome. This is good.
Yeah. It's cool that they've had, I feel like a lot of these stops, I mean, pretty much everyone this tour had this unique thing. Either it was like a debut of a song for, everyone's always going to think Blue Sky for Bonnaroo, or like How Can You Lose at Red Rocks. But then again, you have the theme sets. They don't make you feel like you made a mistake at any one of these stops. You know what I'm saying? So
no, you want to hit like all of them.
of course, yeah. I know they even
Yeah,
do that.
fucking
Even
hard.
with the streams now, they make you feel like you need to be at everyone. But so back
Yeah.
to that though. How I mean, I know this is a big topic or question. Like at the end of the day, you band or you solo?
No, I think the band now is where it's at.
Yeah.
Like the energy for the solo sets might be like a little higher, less jammy, obviously, a little more like getting into it. But I don't know how many times are you gonna hear the same shit till it's like, you know, like
Exactly.
I want to hear you mix it up
Yeah.
and make it special. So
Yeah.
and what they're doing now is just like incredible.
Incredible. Yeah, I think for me, I think partially why I became one of those. I mean, I think I've always been like this with music, but I definitely like the deeper cuts or like the rarities and things like that. But I think partially with Pretty Lights, why I started to think that way was because, yeah, for a while there was a consistent flow of songs that were being played, which is normal to, especially when they started playing with the band. I know I had heard on another almost familiar podcast. One guy was talking about that he talked to Derek about an old track. He's like, yeah, the band's not ready for that one yet. So it is hard to get everybody on with stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, to that point, they're either taking a song that we've all are very familiar with and changing it and making it just, just flipping it on its head or just tweaking it and all that stuff. And then on top of it, they're really diving into a lot of these. They're paying attention to things they haven't played in a long time, or they're being more connected with the fan base. So, yeah, I'm with you there. I really don't get how people think that that's better, but I respect your opinion. While I don't agree with it, I respect it.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's just that's why I keep Pretty Lights keeps impressing me because it keeps getting better in all levels. I mean, it used to just be lasers and lights, and now there's video and so much more. The point cloud stuff, everything is just heightened up, and I mean, I can't think that it's not going to continue to get any better. So, yeah, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
So,
well, every set, it's like, how are they doing this? It's
yeah.
like just like consistency. And I think really with like the sampling and the request line, I think that brings like a whole nother level to it because it really gets like Derek's ears on different music and like gets him thinking about like how songs are connected and what the fan base is listening to.
Yeah.
And then even with like probably like requested PL songs, like, he said New Year's, like I've been chasing Give Your Love Away forever. Like that's been my number one in search of, and like to finally get it. But for him to be like, yeah, we wanted to play this, but it was lost. Like whatever the fuck that means. Like,
I mean, I honestly think they forget about shit because my buddy, so that was like I was saying, I really like a lot of those, and like on some of my, and we got them all this year, but I've been really looking for Give Your Love Away, The Day Is Gone, and Digital as Fuck. And my buddy was saying a while ago, I forget, he might have been at Jam Cruise or something. I think people were talking to him about it, or I forget what the scenario was, but because that was, Give Your Love Away and Day Is Gone are both recap video songs. They just made those for a recap video. And he was like, what is that? Like, he just totally forgot. So it is, I mean, it's crazy that they just, that happens, but yeah, I mean, yeah, by him saying it was lost, I mean, it just, yeah, it's a trip, but I'm really.
Well, it makes me wonder too, because I feel like Give Your Love Away, Dionysus, and One Day They'll Know all have like those similar sounds, and I feel like they almost came from like the same like base. They all have like a similar sound to them, so I wonder if like he just kind of like branched off and made like all these 3 different songs from like one. Because I think back in the day he used to do, I think he used to do like Dionysus into One Day They'll Know. I don't remember, but yeah,
I know they did. Motion Break was a finally moving like prequel thing.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's all, like one thing I'm actually going to start to try and think of is finding keys to songs and then recommending those to like be swirled in and out of each other and things like that. Because there was something I hit him up about on Discord. And he's like, "That's a good idea. That song's in this key and that song's in that key. I'll see if I could work on it." It probably didn't work, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, I'm sure, where they play. You know, for instance, I can only assume that Love You Left Behind, or whatever you want to call it, and Dark as the Sky have to be in the same key, because how often
Right.
they're doing that. And that's one
yeah.
thing I think it always works. I mean, yeah, for a while it was like, I think people were probably, okay, here comes this, but it does.
Oh,
It
100%.
goes in very well, but
100%.
Yeah,
it's like that whole It's Tricky thing. I was like so over that.
Yeah, I'm done.
I was like, It's Tricky is a jam. Like, stop playing it every time.
I know. That's exact. So me and Sam Ackles were talking about songs that need a rinse, but then we also said songs that can be hung up for a while. And for me, look, yeah, I love Up and Down to Go, but it's turned into it's kind of, when you think of 2023, 2024 Pretty Lights, you're gonna think Prophet, you're gonna think Up and Down I Go is Tricky. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
yeah, I love it. I mean, I love all this stuff. It's just, you know, it's been a lot. So
yeah, I don't need it every time.
Exactly. Yeah. Jam Cruise, obviously, I was so upset I didn't go to that. I went to San Francisco, but I mean, that had to be the shit. You know, Came From Nothing. You like that song?
Oh yeah.
That was debuted there, wasn't it? Right?
Yeah. I feel like if you listen to the Jam Cruise recording after that song, you can hear like one of us being like, "What the fuck was that?" Just like, yeah. So, and then getting it in San Fran was like, my buddy Nate like turned to me. He's like, "Isn't this Came From Nothing?" And I'm like, "Holy shit, this is Came From Nothing."
I couldn't idea it. I knew it was something, and I'm like, dude, this is one of my, because again, that's a darker one, and more of like all the stuff that was unreleased at that time. It was really like, oh man, I don't know. It was hitting me. So yeah, that one was awesome, and yeah, like you said, San Francisco is sick, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Smoke 'Em and that were the only two. Well, I guess that's not necessarily a new song, but there wasn't much new shit that night, you know? And then we led into the next night and kind of got a lot more of that going on. But
yeah, I feel like we got Butterfly that night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Butterfly and Smoke 'Em. I think those were the only two.
I remember that Butterfly. That Butterfly was dank.
Yeah, I love that song too.
I do too. He needs to play it more. Like,
I know. And
he played it once. He played it one. Yeah, literally, he played it one time. I was like, what was that?
Yeah, I think I think Brooklyn got a 9-minute one. But other than that, it's been relatively short. Like Minneapolis got it. But it's very cosmic, psychedelic, and a bit of the dark stuff too. But yeah, I don't know. I really like that vibe. I don't know. It's cool. Yo, guys, I'm here to talk to you about a homie in the community that's hooked us up. This is Kusai at Kusai Supply on Instagram. That's KUSAI Supply. Kusai Supply is a consciously curated cannabis agency out of Austin, Texas, curating culture for the community through cannabis. DM to get started. The homie blessed us with 2 of their live rosin pens and 2 samples of their concentrate. This shit's fucking bomb. I'm loving the pens. So you guys give them a shout. Check them out. Again, that's Kusai Supply on Instagram. DM to get started. So you were at Camp Bisco in the 2017 one, right? So that was, I didn't realize that, but do you like that Don't Take My Sunshine song too?
Oh yeah. And that used to be that was one of those like weird videos that he was putting out. Like, do you remember he put out like 5 or 6 like YouTube short videos?
Yeah, and
I'm pretty sure that Don't Take My Sunshine came from one of those tracks. Just like Expanding Perspective was one of those tracks.
And I know he had like, it was like the prequel to episodes, right?
Yeah, exactly. The prequel things. Yeah.
And I know they did that Make It to the Top thing for the Chicago one or whatever. But yeah, I'll have to go back and look, because I didn't. When I first heard that at the Gorge, I was like mind blown with that song. I don't know. I just love the horns and then the satellite sounds and stuff like that. Again, that was another one that was dark, but also like, I don't know. It just had so much. It's crazy because that one, if you go back, he says, because you were at the Gorge, right? Correct. Obviously. So he, the forest fires. He's like, this forest fires took our son away, but we got to get that shit back by tomorrow. So we got to get it swirling proper in here. And yeah, I don't know. That was just, I remember at the time, I'm like, what the fuck is swirling mean? I don't know. And then here we go 6 years later. And
foreshadowing.
Yeah. Some more of that at Red Rocks too. But, so, okay. Tell me this. What are like Analog Future Days? So what are some of your favorite jams of those that were being played that if they could come back, that you'd like to hear?
Yeah, like the breaks. I mean, like Radio Swords for sure.
Yeah.
Baroque.
Yeah, Broke Ass Break.
Witness. I don't know. They were all like super dank. The problem is like there's no horns now, and a lot of those had like horns in. So like, I don't know like how much he could do. I guess he could like Carnes could scratch it in maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I probably is more work than they want to. I think what the vibe is right now is that they want to be more free and not have to do as much work or whatever, maybe, and be more in the moment. But I'm sure they could do something there, or perhaps Borum could do a horn sound on the keys. I don't know. I just I was really thinking we were gonna get something along those lines in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was the horns were a little lackluster. I was kind of like, this isn't quite what I was hoping for.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
I thought we were gonna get them all night, not just the second set.
Me too. Yeah, dude. I was night one. We didn't have floor. We went down for the second set, but I was like to the right, front row. So I kept seeing. This was like the main traffic way to backstage too. So I saw Derek's parents walk by. I saw Scott Flynn and Bloom walk by. And this was like those two walked by at that moment when the show was like they were a couple songs in. I'm like, oh, they're going up right now, and then they don't come up to the second set. I was just like, damn, what the fuck?
Yeah, bummer.
I am with you. I mean, I do like some of the moments they had, but they only played half of a set. Yeah, half of a set, second set half. So
it was. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, they left after all the lights, and then they did. I mean, they did maybe 3/4 of a set, whatever.
Yeah, and like it was like kind of a repeat too with like the Get a Move On or whatever. It's like
I can see your face and Get a Move On.
Yeah, it's the same horn shit.
Yeah, I mean, I did like Dionysus. That was nice, and
I mean that one's always fucking good.
And Old Corolla was really good with that, which is normally more like I'll tell you, it's a good song. It's not necessarily one of my favorites, but I think they really added some extra stuff there. And then I think there's Out of Time, and then those lists that you had mentioned, and then ended with All the Lights, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, I definitely was thinking we get more of that. But yeah, I mean, Athena as well.
Oh yeah, Athena was great. There was one in Tally that they did. I don't know.
The New Moon Jam? Dark New Moon Jam or whatever.
Maybe. Yeah. I just remember it being like called like we labeled it something. Some kind of brand. I was like, damn, this shit's fire.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that when they were just jamming.
I know. I do miss some of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, I was just curious. Okay, but of that tour or era, what are the shows that stick out for you? Other than let's not say Red Rocks. We all know those. Let's go some of the details.
Jackson, Wyoming was fucking dope. That was like a 200-person venue. We drove up, and some dude that lived up there, Joe Funk, set up this campsite, and there was like 30 of us camping out in the woods in Wyoming.
No way.
That show was dope. Jam Cruise, obviously.
Yeah.
The whole like East Coast tour for Analog Future, because like I was living back east, and just to be able to go like Philly, Jersey, Connecticut, Albany, like all over the place, and like just having those connections and like crashing in hotel rooms and all of that.
I mean, it's crazy. The East Coast is, I mean, just as you look at the map in the country, obviously with technology and time or whatever, and the cities get further apart, but the East Coast, you could really hit a lot of fucking shit.
Yeah, we were cranking them off for sure.
Yeah, I would love to at some point in my life do an East Coast like just run of some sorts. But I mean, I mean, Philly, Jersey, New York, Boston, Connecticut, like they're all just, and I mean, I think you had a Maryland in there, didn't you? Maybe that was a different.
Yeah, Free Fest was the fucking shit, also known as Glitter Lights. So it was like a downpour that night, and the lasers when they hit the rain is just like glitter in the sky. And that was like a huge like bonding moment for PLF too. I feel like a lot of people went to that because it was free. Everyone met up. We were just being debaucherous, walking around the Merriweather Post Pavilion all day.
I didn't realize it was free.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is like, You know, for me, I was definitely when I was younger, I was kind of stuck in my clique and a little more like I guess shy, and also just feeling like, oh, I'm new to this, you know, not necessarily putting myself out there, but like hearing these stories on like the shows that weren't the episodic festivals, like the Sandpoint, Idaho, and the Jackson, Wyoming's, and things like that, or what you just mentioned, like those moments, those really seem from my perspective, from what I've heard from people like that, that's really like where a lot of fan bonding was kind of going on because
Oh yeah.
those are more the intimate moments. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool to like just I don't know hear some of that stuff because I mean in my mind I'll tell you at the time I'm like, well, obviously I would go to an episodic festival. Why would I go to here, and here? You know. But if you can, I mean, that's exactly to the point. You know, you really bond and meet a lot of people, and didn't even realize that people were camping like that. That's epic. That's epic, dude.
Yeah, and you'd have things like I remember Pandora in New York was dope. Like that was a free show too, and it was like first come first serve. So like people are standing outside all day. And
Yeah.
like what are you gonna do? You're just gonna shoot the shit, and you really get to know all these people, and then they're all hitting the same types of shows too.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing like Grammatic and Grizz back then, Big G, like all that stuff. So like you really bonded over the music scene for sure.
Dude, speaking of that's another thing I'd really like to know. If it ever came down to it, is like what happened with Grammatic and PL, like
I don't know. I've heard Dennis is a dick, so
yeah, I have. I've heard that too. I heard someone say, "Don't pass him a blunt because you won't get it back." But yeah, I don't know. I remember seeing him say stuff like I don't think he liked being under PLM label or whatever,
Sure.
All right, so after that, when it comes back, just quickly now, what are the ones that are sticking out to you? And when I think of these shows, I kind of take all things into consideration. So like, not only the music, the people you're with, the location, even the things that the city or town has to offer. What are the ones that stick out to you over these last couple of years?
Sure. Well, definitely, like the music at Caverns was incredible.
Yeah,
like,
I actually put that
those sets so good.
Yeah, I actually put that on here for you. I try to put a show on that everyone was that the guest was at, but yeah.
Yeah. Now Caverns was super memorable. They were just like on point, and all 3 nights were so good. Night 1 though was my favorite for sure. Like Short Line opener.
Yeah.
It's just like a classic opener, first album ever open. The Let's Get Busy swirl. Like I don't even like Let's Get Busy.
Yeah.
But that shit was so good.
That, Riders on the Storm.
The Riders on the Storm.
Dude, yeah, that was incredible. I mean,
it was incredible.
I don't really like that song either, but yeah, that was fucking amazing.
And I'm a huge Who fan, so like Eminence Front, fucking Can't Stop Me Now was just incredible. So yeah, that stuff, the music was top tier. But San Fran was probably like some of the funnest like times for that tour. I think I had that in Dillon. We had such a great house in Dillon, so it's like, and Dillon ended at 10 every night. So you go back, you can party and still like get some sleep. So that's always nice.
I actually do like earlier shows. I mean, you want it to be dark, obviously, but like. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I wish it was later, because I mean, but you're in your 30s, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, we're getting old, dude. Like,
for sure.
And I still
like I'm not trying to after party, No, like, I just want to go hang with the friends,
Exactly. I love the post show debrief or whatever.
Yeah, that's the best part. I feel like.
I mean, it's just kind of either playing the music again or just talking about it. I mean, that's what kind of. Like, even though the show ends, I'm like, oh, I'm ready to get back to the spot. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, for sure.
I really think, like mid tour that I think Chicago is really where they turned a page, but then Caverns was like, that's where they really dove into like it seemed as though yeah, exactly. So they from Tennessee to Warfield. Or from the Caverns to Warfield to New Orleans, those were really getting the vibe of the area, the culture, and stuff like that. So I mean, and they still did that everywhere else. I just think that it was really tight knit and just polished at that point. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. So
yeah,
those were my favorites of last tour. This tour, Tahoe takes the cake for sure.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Tahoe vibes were like very much like Dylan vibes. The sets, like I don't know, they were on another level. Like they were so tight.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
and just like night one, set one was incredible. It's like Until Tomorrow all the way, and then that Go Down Sunshine and
Yeah.
the Evening Sun, just like, and then like second set was like Chain Around My Heart, and then the King's Affirmation. Like Tahoe was top tier for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And then the vibes too. It was like, people are going to the casino and gambling after. We went on the lake the next day. It's just like a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's like I said, I take all things into consideration. And, I mean, each stop I went to had something special for me, but I think as a whole, like Tahoe, I mean, definitely one of the coolest places I've ever been. And my wife isn't necessarily as like adventurous as I am when it comes to like the outdoor stuff, but I think that's a place that has something for everyone, where you could get to those like scenic areas very quickly. You could go to the casinos. They had lots of restaurants to go to. I mean, we went kayaking and stuff where you could see the bottom of the lake and stuff. And we stayed right on State Line. I heard them sound checking and they were playing like I Can See in Your Face, but sampling or like throwing a Mac Miller sample in there, and it was awesome. I mean, I mean, and just the convenience of all that stuff. It was just great. I mean, yeah, it was definitely. I love how Pretty Lights brings you to places, you know. So,
yeah, that one wasn't easy to get to. There were a couple of those like this tour. It's like you really got to work to. Like St. Augustine was like real difficult to get to. You know, you don't just like
far
show up
from
in the
Jacksonville.
City. Yeah, it's like an hour, 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
How about did you drive from Colorado to Tahoe, or did you fly to Sacramento or something
we
like that?
flew. Yeah.
No, I mean, same. Yeah, we had to drive, and dude, I almost missed my flight coming home because traffic leaving there.
Fires. Yeah.
Something happened. I had to basically, you see cars turning around, and we were like, I guess we got to turn around, and I had to find some sketchy like roads to get to detour, and luckily made our flight just in time. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, there were fires. They had to close a couple roads down.
Damn. Yeah. But either way, back to the set though. I mean, my other love with that jazzy electronic that they haven't done. I couldn't even
forever.
And then I mean, I just really liked that they didn't play. Aside from I Know the Truth, I feel like there wasn't any.
Bro, I was so mad at that. Like you're gonna go from Lost Souls tribute while everyone's like crying and like to I Know the Dawn. Like nah, bro, not the vibe.
I know. Was it right at, or did they do the Infinity Dreams into that? I can't remember what.
I think it was Lost Souls into I Know the Truth.
Yeah. You know, I definitely was not looking forward to, but it was different though, and I was like, okay, that was at least something else, because you know they kind of slowed it down and did like the Lil Wayne stuff in there. But I mean, aside from that though, I think it was cool that they definitely didn't play a lot of songs that we would typically hear. You know,
No, and I've been chasing Sweet Long Life for a hot minute too, so
it
was good to get that. But they didn't swirl it, so I was kind of like, that's fine.
I know. That's how it was the day. That's how it was. The day is gone. I was like,
we were chasing that too.
Yeah, but they didn't. They just kind of played it as is, which is totally
that's fine though.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take it.
ACL was dope. Like we went to the second weekend of that. We it was my girl's birthday, so we just like last minute sent it. Yeah. Our flight landed like an hour before the set, and we just hoofed it over there. So that was like a whole thing. Walked in right when they came on stage. It was like perfect timing.
Wow.
And then they only played like 2 release tracks that set. It's like that's not what you would expect from a festival set.
I'm about that shit. Yeah,
they crushed it, and that was a great time. St. Augie was fucking dope. Like we had such a fun time in the Airbnb, and like that, all those sets were just, that whole weekend was like fun was the theme of those sets. And like, you could feel it during Keep 'Em Bouncing in the pit, like the most lit pit I've ever been in. Everyone, the whole thing was just up and down. Like it was wild. It was wild. St. Augie was fun.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you get pretty down, right?
Oh yeah,
Because your
yeah.
hair.
I threw my neck out. I threw my neck out in Tahoe.
Oh no way!
I like gave myself whiplash during that fucking Hot Lake Rocks
Yeah,
Chimera
and the Sound of Silence
shit.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I could see why. You know what? I never typically go that close. The sound and the energy up that close, and Tahoe is much bigger stage. It was something. I mean, and yeah, I could totally see why that would happen. But I just I know you've been on a couple shots and stuff. I know the hair's down, and you're going crazy. So yeah.
Hair's always down.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, jealous, obviously. I guess with Augustine, I didn't like necessarily understand some of the stuff that was going on, but I'm really glad Ethan came on because after like hearing that, I'm like, wow, that's really a cool like inside joke thing, which is pretty funny.
No, totally, yeah, and that was one of the things. So people, if you didn't know, like,
no, yeah, I mean, don't anyone could understand why I would be like, okay, I did.
No, 100%. Yeah. We had a bunch of friends that like they're in it, but they don't know that deep. Not many people know it that deep. So like, but like, yeah, the first night with the finally moving and the flow ride and the levels, it was like, oh, it's gonna be like that. Like you're trying to have fun, and then like. I feel like Pink Pony Club really like put that message in. It's like, hey, we're just having fun. Like that's what this whole weekend's about. That was a blast. It was a really fun time.
And Wayfaring Stranger was there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is another great one. You know what's funny? That Regeneration album, I can't find that. I feel like it's not on Spotify. I don't know if it's. Okay. I can find it on SoundCloud, but. That it's weird. I've that kind of rekindled my thoughts about that, and I was thinking about how I wanted to show someone that Skrillex thing, how he did that song with that dude from the Doors, and how that Jim Morrison like thing that he says, and you know what I'm talking about, how he predicts the future of like producers and DJs and stuff.
Yeah,
insane.
Yeah, wow.
Really cool. This is one that I always go to from Augustine, and I was just curious if this stuck out to you, but the whistle, how they did that and how it got very like cosmic-y and like I don't know. I just that's one of my new favorites that I go to a lot. I think that song's really like from Mission to now, it's just slowly like evolved, and it's I don't know.
A lot of those tracks too, like World is a Cinema, I feel like it's come so far. Like getting that Queen, like I Want to Break Free.
And that was at Bonnaroo, right?
Yeah. I was like, yo, this is so good.
Yeah, to that point though, I mean, a lot of these, I was actually talking to someone else about this. I wonder, I don't know, maybe they don't want to do this album stuff because they keep playing these songs differently and there's no like, you know what I mean? I don't know, maybe.
Sure.
But,
I don't know. Like, I mean, when they came back, like I think Mike said, like album coming soon, but I feel like I don't know. Like, part of me wonders if we'll ever get an album. Like, maybe that's not what they do anymore.
Yeah, but. I mean, another parallel with the Grateful Dead, like they don't really care for the album stuff, and I know like they were always getting pressured to like put stuff on record because that's what the businessmen want. I don't know. Either way, I would love some stuff to go on Spotify, but at the same time,
well, I feel like if you want to expand your fan base, you need like album releases so that the regular people can listen to it, because it's not every day that people are going to go to like a SoundCloud to like seek this out. So I think he does need that. I also have felt like a color map was like very specific in its sound, and I feel like he could take a lot away from that learning process with his lot. So my theory was like he's going to take these live recordings and then use those to sample to make the actual track to build an album off of. And I was really feeling like if he did that with like some of the stuff he's doing now, like the New Year's suite that he did, like the 5 or like 6 songs where it was just like disco-y and like upbeat and dancey. I was like, this is something that like the popular masses would listen to that would like put him on the par of like that Daft Punk album where he could actually like get some like recognition from that. But I don't know if that's like what he wants. I feel like he's just trying to trying to make music
Yeah.
and put it out.
I mean, yeah, I run into that problem because I have a lot of friends or people that I talk to, but they're aware. Obviously, it's not hard to tell that I'm a huge fan of this stuff, but I will share or try and show them stuff, and it just makes it harder because also on top of it, if I'm really like being picky about someone getting into this, like if I want them to take the full journey, it's like get into the album stuff and then you listen to the live stuff so you could know what they're doing, But
Sure.
at the
Yeah,
same
fair.
time, I still share stuff like, for instance, back to the Eminence Front thing. My cousins love that, and I shared that with them, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is really cool." I don't think it progressed further past that, but to your point again, the new fan base, we need that because we want this to continue on when we get into our older ages too. We don't want this to stop, but
yeah. Well, it's crazy that you see the new fans though. Like they know like everything,
Yeah.
So like people are getting it, and I feel like maybe that's like part of it. Like Fish is like they're not mainstream per se, but like they've built this following over years because of how they've done it, and I feel like that's kind of what PL is doing.
Yeah. No, I mean
they're not trying to be something they're not.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, I guess they just got to. I guess in that point, you just got to keep playing shows, which is fine, totally fine. But yeah, I think to your point, like they are very motivated. I mean, they're all big Fish fans, and I think to that thing about the Dead saying, or Bob Weir saying that this just is a marketing not a tactic, but an unintentional unintentional marketing thing that it creates the lore and the drive for people to want to be in that atmosphere and a part of it. But I don't know. Either way, clearly they know what they're doing. We're just here talking. But it's just that whole soon thing keeps living on. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so speaking of soon, which is soon, Buena Vista. I mean, I can only guarantee you're going to be there. Yeah,
got my RV booked, ready to go.
Damn, that's legit. So you drive it from Denver?
Yeah. I think Buena Vista. I don't even know. It's like an hour and a half.
Okay.
I think 2 hours maybe.
Did you drive your RV to Bonnaroo, or did you rent it out there?
No, we just flew and rented one.
Okay,
that's the tech. You just fly in and rent from like one of those websites or like Cruise America or something. Hope they have like electric hookup if you can get it, or water, so you can like take showers and run the AC all weekend.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's legit.
Yeah, Bonnaroo was a fucking dream. We're like asleep at 2 p.m. just like chilling.
Yeah, because my buddy went 2013. I assume 2013 you didn't have one.
No, I was in the car and it was miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's got to be the worst because, you stay up all night because they go late and then the sun comes up and you're like, oh, my God.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful. At 2013 Bonnaroo, they had a Little Caesars pizza truck there, and they were doing $5 pizzas. I ate Little Caesars pizza the whole time. We're going to get a $5 whole pizza at a festival.
That's what you're paying.
Like, what?
Jesus Christ. Man, that's insane.
Yeah, different time.
Yeah. Okay, but so you're going there. I mean, definitely. Wait, you have your RV booked. Do you know the dates? They haven't come out yet, right?
Well, so if you were following close, the town council had their meetings and voted. So it's the last weekend in June.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
I think they have it booked for 4 days, so like 1 day for setup, 1 day for teardown. So it should be like a 2-day, Friday, Saturday.
Gotcha. Sweet.
Last weekend. You gonna make it? You gonna have your kid by then?
And my kid is born in July. So
your wife gonna let you go?
I would love to, but yeah.
Right.
It's it sucked. I'm probably, unless they come out here, probably likely I won't be going to anything. But to that point, if you got Wi-Fi in there, I'm trying to do these things where just like 10 minutes or something, like just give me a quick rundown of how it was, or like have people come on like this, nothing crazy, just a quick, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're down, or even if you're cruising there, like a big shot of the RV, just like, know, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, I know that they're obviously going to hit some other places. I just don't, I don't know, the scene out here for that stuff. It really is not the same as other places, but
Nah, for sure. Yeah, and I think we're a little way off from tour announcement, probably.
Yeah. You think we're close or far away from that?
I think we're far. We'll probably get like summer tour, like summer like festival circuit stuff here soon, and then we'll get whatever else they're doing. But
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be an official release, just like Check Your Vector was, or if they're going to just start to drop off like festival here, festival there. But either way, what else would you like to see if you're going to be traveling?
well, rumors are Elements Festival. That's in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I haven't been.
Are you from Philly area or?
Yeah, Philly area, kind of Harrisburg, a little north.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't been home in so long, so I'm like, oh, Pretty Lights in Pennsylvania. Yeah. I guess I'll go home. That's the only other thing I've heard.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything else yet. So I'm hoping we get this documentary thing.
I know. I mean,
I thought that would be coming soon.
No, what the? I mean, just sorry, I shouldn't say what the fuck. But
no, I get it. It's like you hear like they have these cool visions, and then like stuff just never comes to fruition. Like,
yeah,
where's that Soul Live album?
yeah, dude. Yeah, where's that double album? That one was supposed to be like the color map stuff, and one was the old style.
Right.
Whatever. But so I actually, again, back to the Stroke of Midnight, Greg's podcast with Durian, and I think Durian does the video. He was in film. He went to film school, whatever. He was talking about it, and he's like, yeah, that working on that Pretty Lights documentary that's like never going to come out. So it just seems like it's going to come out, but not anytime soon. And I think he alluded to the whole soon thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he usually has like a vision, and then I don't know if something happens. Like I think Island of Light was meant to be like an album release. I think that's what the vision of that tour was like building an album off the tour to then culminate at Island of Light. That was my thought, and then obviously like that happened, and then COVID, and then
Yeah,
like everything.
So was that supposed to be after Redbox 18, or was that?
I feel like that was like 16. When was the hurricane? It was Maria, I think.
Oh, okay.
2017.
Because again, that's where I kind of started to be like, all right, I'm gonna take a step back a little bit. But either way, I just got back from Mexico last night. I mean, I think anytime I do an all inclusive thing, I'm like, Pretty Lights at a fucking all inclusive would be so sick. And I would love to get there and do a bunch of this stuff. That'd be the perfect place to connect with people and sit down and Panic does Panic in La Playa or whatever every year down there. Widespread
Fish
Panic.
too, right?
Yeah, Fish does some shit down there. Dead and Co. doing some,
too,
yeah, exactly. Cheese actually did it at the resort I got married at, or the adult version of it, or whatever. But either way, I mean, that getting everybody there and having just everything, everyone can drink and eat and just be in one spot. I think that'd be a really cool thing. I mean, that's what I like about the camping stuff. I mean, yeah. So, what are you like? Are you a camping or a city stop weekend guy?
I just feel like people aren't camping anymore like they used to.
Yeah.
So like the vibe isn't what it used to be. It's not like Counterpoint where we rolled up like 30 people deep or something, like it's not like that anymore. So now I think the city vibe is where it's at. You get a good Airbnb with people, and yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm with you because I came up in that time. I mean, my first handful of times seeing Pretty Lights were festivals. I was actually at both Counterpoints, but you're talking about 2014, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a nice set. I mean, I still go back and listen to that one a lot. But like we were younger, and that's how we could vacate. Like, now that we're all older, we can go. You have more money, and you can enjoy the city more. Like I love city like food culture and stuff like that. So, going to get some dim sum in San Francisco or going to get some seafood in New Orleans, like it's all part of it. So
yeah. Well, having a bed and a shower makes a huge difference.
But on the flip side, the one thing that is cool about those like scenarios is that everyone you're amongst everybody you're gonna meet more people, instead of you're gonna make your own plans throughout the city. But either way. So that's cool. I mean, definitely we'll keep in touch if you're down to throw some stuff in there. And, I definitely make like edits and stuff like that. And I encourage everybody put your phone down. But if you do have clips and you want someone to do something with it, I'm gonna start making some drop boxes because I'm gonna try and make like an edit from each tour stop.
Okay, cool.
So and I like everything. I don't want just to show. I want scenic. I even anything that encapsulates the whole weekend and stuff. So, I'll put some stuff out there about that. But it's definitely I'm trying to get more of the fans involved too. If it's like a group shot of you guys or something like that, it'd be cool. So, just more fan involvement. What are you chasing now and hoping to hear?
It's a good question. I don't know. I was like so set on Give Your Love Away. Like anyone's like, what do you want to hear? Give Your Love Away. Like I said every time.
Yeah.
So like to finally fucking get that was like peak. So I don't know.
On an encore like that.
I know. Yeah. And with like Chili Peppers too. Like I'm a huge Chili Peppers fan. So I was like, this is for me.
No, that was great.
What am I chasing now though? Man, that's a good question. I don't know if there's like one thing that it's probably gonna take a minute till I can be like, okay, this is what I want. But like, I want some Regulators would be fun. Can't Knock the Hustle.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want It's Time to Leave or Beyond Right Now. Like he was playing those kind of heavy back in the day. What else? I only got Piano Man like once, I think.
Yeah, that was the night one San Francisco. Yeah, that was dope. I mean, I love that track. I mean, if anything, I guess more like Better Than I've Ever Been and shit like that. Some of the stuff that was like alongside the Piano Man era things, and I don't know. I mean, I've picked up. There's actually a good amount of 2023 songs that they haven't really revisited. But yeah, I mean, either way, just I want some more stuff that hasn't. That doesn't get played often. So
yeah, I didn't know that You Have a Gift was from The Gorge.
Yeah,
I thought that was a brand new track, and I was like, oh shit, I had no idea that I'd heard it before.
It's crazy that a lot of so when I was at The Gorge, I was thinking because again before this era that we're in right now, and I mean I'm sure there may have been the recordings. I wasn't as avid on listening to like every single stop, but. I didn't realize that Don't Take My Sunshine was debuted at summer camp and then they played Bisco. But I'm there and I'm thinking these are all like kind of debuts because it's episode 1, all that shit. So, yeah, I mean, there's that. There's expanding perspective. There's a lot of good shit there. That night one I'm a big night one guy, but that was definitely one of my favorite night ones for sure. I know a lot of people really like the second one because Michael came out and stuff like that, but for me, that was just again getting hit with a lot of stuff that I hadn't heard, and I was really pumped for it.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of stuff they haven't really, like you said, they haven't gone back to, like Welcome to the Machine or I Smoke 'Em.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot. There are a lot of 2023 stuff. So that's what I would encourage anyone go back and kind of run through last year's or. No, I guess 2 years ago tour, and kind of see some of those things because you want to stay refreshed when these things come up. I always like to be like, oh shit, that's this instead of like, what is
this? It's crazy if you go back and listen too. It's like you hear stuff that then becomes a song later.
Yeah.
Like someone pointed out that at Mission during a transition, they played like the How Can You Lose sample.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So it's like, holy shit. Like, and then in Tahoe, or no, at Bonnaroo during Don't Worry, you can hear the Blue World. Or wait, what did he play at Tahoe? What was the Max song?
It was the Jet Fuel.
Jet Fuel, yeah. So you hear the doo-doo-doo in the back of Don't Worry at Bonnaroo. And it's like,
oh, no way.
Like, how does is he doing this on purpose? Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some of it is a little foreshadowing stuff, but I don't know. It's either way. I mean, that's fucking sick. If you can, if you ever think of that song at Mission that had the one you were talking about earlier, let me know because I'll definitely.
Yeah, I gotta find that. Someone posted it in PLF a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And like at Caverns, I think San Fran might have been the next stop, but at one point at Caverns, I think at the Sunset, he's like the transitive nightfall of diamonds, and it's like, oh well, then you played Dark Star like the next week.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So it's like, yeah, he's definitely like, I feel like a lot of it is foreshadowing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there is also some things that went from San Francisco to New Orleans that I remembered, and it was weird. I mean, I know some people weren't crazy about it, but they kind of did the when the Saints go marching in with I Can See It in Your Face, and it was kind of like bum 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 bum, but they were kind of doing a little bit of that in those songs, and maybe even another stop before that. But then when it came to New Orleans, they really like went into it and like, oh shit, they're actually doing this, which you know, that is a big New Orleans thing. So you know,
yeah, the kids, the chorus thing was a weird choice though. It's like
that part, yeah, I'm with you, but you know, I understand why they did it. But I was
Yeah,
all about the
for sure.
Dr. John stuff. That shit was
Yeah.
fucking amazing. And you were at
So
all three
good.
of those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Terrible venue.
yeah, I was gonna say, where were you? Were you up front at the rail or?
First night I was like back left of soundboard, and that sucked. And then night 2 I was on rail, and that was chill. And then night 3 we got a spot behind soundboard, and the security dude there was the shit. If anyone came in our area, he's like, you can't stand here. He's like, this is reserved. And I like, yeah, people would come in. He's like, no, these people have been standing here all day. Like, you're not gonna come in here and take the space.
Oh, that's
like, yeah, this dude's
okay.
awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Smalls.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
He was event security or PL?
Yeah. No, event security.
Yeah. Dude, did you go to Buku?
No.
So they play that. Have you ever
That same spot, right?
Yeah. So like that's one of the stages inside, but like the main stage is out, like you know, like the river. Like if you're walking out of the whatever you call it, Mardi Gras World Ballroom thing, it was the river straight ahead. If you walk to the right, that's where the main stage was. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have festivals there, so there's porta potties and stuff. But I heard that they had outdoor bathrooms and shit like that for that. It's just I don't know, man.
Outdoor porta potties that weren't under the awning the first night, and it was a torrential downpour. Yeah. So like it was fucked up. There was like handicapped people trying to go in the handicap stall, and they're like getting rain like dumped on them. It was a fucking mess.
Yeah.
And then there was like no water refills the first night.
Yeah.
But then the second night they moved all the porta potties under, and then PL team brought water. I think. Good. So yeah.
Either way,
they adjusted.
yeah. I mean, that's just one thing I noticed hearing right away. It was like, damn. I mean, I saw some girls so mad. She's like, I'm about to throw in the jib, y'all. You guys are like, all right,
shit.
Relax, all right? Like,
jibs.
Yeah, for real. Are you a jib guy?
Nah.
I
can't throw my hair around with a jib on.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, I feel like I've never seen you in one, but
nah, I rocked a hat like in the very beginning, but nah, wasn't it.
Gotcha. Yeah, it makes you more original then, you know. Start to blend in with all the hats and shit. I'm just bald, so you know, I live and die by the hat, you know. Yeah.
Feel that.
I think we pretty much wrapped it all up unless you got anything else. I mean, you know, it's kind of since we're off tour, we don't have much, you know, shit.
I know, it's hard.
Yeah.
I was like, man, am I gonna remember anything that happened from tour?
Yeah.
There's so much, like, fuck.
Yeah.
All the connections that have been made through PLF. It's like I moved out here in 2014 with like the big like PL exodus, basically like all the PL heads come moving out here, and we just formed like a super tight community and been real close with like 10 people, and just like created like real bonds and like family over this stuff.
Yeah.
So
no, that's what it's all about, man. I mean, I you know, there's the music, there's people you're getting to know, and there's places it takes you, and just, I mean, all these things. But I'd never thought I'd be living in California. I thought I would for sure move to Colorado at some point in my life, but it is wild. I mean, you know, a lot of you guys that have been a part of this, you know, for so long, it's really cool. And that's just kind of my vision with this, is just kind of highlighting this stuff. And I actually got someone who's going to join and start helping on the back end of a lot of these things. But he kind of made the point, like, you know, because in my head, I'm like, all right, well, are people going to like this? And is it going to be something that people really care for? But he kind of made the point, like, you know, I think this is going to be really cool for the future, you know, for future generations to come back and get to know some of these people that I'm having on, or just, you know, just kind of know what it was like. So that's kind of my thing. You know, I definitely, all you guys that have a place, you know, a big role played. I think it's, you know, cool to highlight and shit. So
yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah. Well, it's crazy. Like everyone I've met, like there was some old couple in St. Augie that I think they're from Colorado, and they're like, "Oh, we've been seeing the Grateful Dead our whole lives, and this like reminds us so much of like what that was." And I think you can like make a comparison with how the family is coming. Like,
Oh, for sure.
I literally know like so many people at every show, like 50 or 100 people I probably know at every show. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere you look, it's like, oh, what's up? And even now, like I said, it's weird. Like this whole tour, I feel like I've met people I've been Facebook friends with forever, and yeah, it's just like it keeps growing somehow. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty good memory for random things, but I mean, obviously, I'd bought pins from you and stuff. But I remember I saw you outside the Warfield. I'm like, hey, dude, yeah, Ben Molinex, you remember? And you're like, yeah. So it just, yeah, again, it's funny that I'm, especially now that it's come back, I think I'm just more aware, but I've definitely been bumping into people more. And then especially in Chicago, that was my first show home in a really long time, since before the hiatus. So I was not only bumping into fam, and I've gotten to know more people, but then seeing random people that I knew from back home that just happened to go to the show that weren't necessarily big Pretty Lights fans. Just appreciate you coming on. I mean, just everything that you've kind of done has been, I really genuinely appreciate it. I mean,
yeah, of course.
Aside from all the pins you put up and like the groundwork that you did on the early days, without, I don't know. I think a lot of you guys doing that really probably, if I had to guess, the team has noticed that, and they've really noticed like, hey, there's a vacuum for people wanting these recordings or these videos and stuff. So yeah, I think, you guys have a lot to do with that. So it's
no, I think that's fair, because like I remember when we were talking like about upgrading stuff, and like Smokey, the dude that runs the stream, like chimed in, because we're like, man, how can we like live stream video to like the masses? Because we were talking about trying to like get a GoPro and like set up a live like Wi-Fi streaming or something. So I think like, yeah, I think they know there's an appetite for that, and I think with Derek too, wanting to like release music, however, unconventionally or whatever. I think this is like the platform for that, and I think they did see that need for that, and I'm so grateful that they actually like did something about it, and not even just like something, but they took it to like, this is incredible. Like who does free streams at this quality nonetheless, like you can pay $30 for a like fish or stream or something, and you're not getting the same quality of
using drones and stuff like that, and just again all the extra visual elements. But I think this is something, maybe not now, but people really will appreciate down the line for the future of live streamed concert content. So but yeah, I mean, again, I think obviously I know they appreciate you guys doing that, where most artists and people affiliated with a musical entity like that would not be crazy about it. They'd probably be really upset about it. So I think it just, again, speaks to the community that we're a part of, that it's definitely, it just feels good. I mean, obviously we all love the music, but it's nice to be in a community where the people in charge of the thing that we're all chasing support us, and and everything that we're doing. So seeing 70+ shows and being really connected with the fam. I mean, this guy definitely is one of the forefront of the the Pretty Lights fam squad. So definitely send this guy some thanks for everything he's done, and definitely say what's up. So I really appreciate you coming on, man. So
thanks, bud.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again, and I'm sure in some other capacity, but I figured with this way, with not having any shows to talk about, we kind of dive into what you do or what you have done, and then can branch off that on another time. So
yeah, we'll appreciate it. We're probably we're trying to drop a Pretty Lights Live app here soon, so people can just stream it from their phone.
Oh, so yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hoping to get that out in the next couple of weeks.
Sweet.
Just gotta streamline it. So keep an eye out for that.
Dude, you should try and work with Chris with Pretty Nice.
Yeah, we've been talking a bunch for sure.
Because I actually was thinking it'd be really cool if you had like a user profile, almost like a avatar or something like that. But that's a little far advanced. But in general, you could have someone's like show lists on there, and you could kind of compare, and or they could whatever. I mean, just kind of using.
Yeah, that was the original dream of the site, was to have that as a feature, and then Chris, like out of nowhere, it was like, oh, this is a thing now.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah,
so grateful to have that resource, because like all the jam bands have that shit. And to be able to like yeah, to dive in and nerd out is like a huge fucking deal. So I'm so grateful for that.
No, I love it, man. It's definitely it was a missing piece for sure, and it's you know, can't thank him enough for all that. And again, thank you for all that you're doing.
Yeah, of course.
I really appreciate it, and you know, we'll definitely you know, if you're ever down to come back, I'd be more than happy to have you again. So
yeah, I'd love to.
All right, man. All right, guys. Well, this will conclude this episode of Trip Thru Time, and as time goes by, memories never die. Thank you for Brandon for coming, and looking forward to everything that you talked about with that app. So appreciate everybody out there, and we'll see you on the next one.
Nobody can stop your progress, 'cause unknown forces move somehow. That's bad, that's bad, that's bad, that's Nobody can stop your progress, 'cause unknown forces move some known objects. That's bad, bad, That's bad, bad, That's bad, bad, bad.
Through time, fly. We rode upon a ship that flies.